Hello everybody, welcome back to PadFootTD Games. My name is Zach, I'm the voice behind the icon, and today we are back in Virtual Sailor once again, here with a beautiful Disney Dream. It is time, after a beautiful day here at Castaway Cay, it is time for us to set sail. We're going to be heading down to Lighthouse Point next here with the Disney Dream. Very excited, that'll be our first time actually showing up there before we have a beautiful day at sea before going back to Fort Lauderdale. So it's really neat to kind of keep pushing this forward, and I do look forward to whatever our next adventure is going to be. I have a lot of people asking for Carnival of Valor, so we might actually peek at that. We've got a lot of options. So it's going to be really hard to kind of pick, and right now I just don't have a ton of time to be able to film these for you guys. But it is time for us to depart. We are actually here on the island right now. We're here at the observation tower. Very good zoom. Interesting thing. Let's see. I think I've talked about this before, but I'll talk about it a little bit more for the people who don't know. Disney Cruise Line, obviously, this is their island. They made their own jetty. You can take a tram. That'll bring you to the family beach. And if you continue all the way down, it will bring you to the adult beach. So this is like where you'd go and do your paddle boats and stuff. Snorkeling's all in this area. Family beach is in this area where there's this flame. I don't quite understand that. Then if you come all the way down here, this is the adult only beach right here. And if you go all the way down here, I can't remember if it's actually here or if it was over here. I feel like, yeah, distance-wise, it's got to be here. You can actually take a bike path all the way down. That'll bring you to this side of the island, and you get some really neat views of the other side of the island, and it's really neat to be able to be there. We've taken a walk there before. I will say this, because I know I've said it before, and I'll say it again. There is a tennis ball of one of my last service dogs, my actual last service dog from last time, from many years ago. She has a tennis ball in memoriam buried over on this general area. Just as a remembrance, and we went to visit last year. I think it was last year we were on the cruise. Wow, time flies, right? And I kind of broke down in tears, just kind of remembering her and honoring her. So we're going to get down off the observation tower here, and we are going to get our way back towards the ship. And yeah, overall, really looking forward to our next stop at a place we have not been yet. So that's going to be really cool. So let's start heading back to the ship, and let's get on out of here. Beautiful view from the like extracurricular beach. All I can remember is like there's paddle boats, and you can kind of get jet skis from here, and that's all that I kind of remember in this area that's here. Let's zoom back out, because again, like the family beach and the snorkeling are over here. Maybe the stingray encounter is also here. I can't really remember, but we're continuing our walk back to the ship for this. It's about a 4:30 departure from here. So a little bit extra long before we head off to Lookout Point. So let's head on back to the ship a little bit more. It's always hard to leave. Like even here, it's one of those things of like, I don't want to leave. Like Cookie's Barbecue, and if you head over to the other side, Cookies too. Oh, good times. All right, let's jet on over here. I realized I could cutscene it, but like, come on, it's gonna be better to do this way. Ooh, I swear, anything technology-wise I'm touching recently has been so upset and very hard to actually use. Man, we are faster than tram. Oh, I wanted to get down here. Again, look at this. So first off, there's our map, which again, I was kind of, whoa, forgetting keys. Yeah, so you come in, I'll make sure you zoom in. Here, you tram down. Stop 1. This is like the kids' play area down to the runway that used to be used for drug smuggling. Out here is the scenic lookout. Come down, and over here's the adult beach, and then you head out. I love how there's even it's even watermarked. That's so funny. And if you're curious, there are service dog relief areas here, and I gotta if I remember right here. That's all that I know. It's just on the sand. Trying to get Ella to go on sand. She'll go anywhere. Just kind of funny. But yeah, so that's obviously Castaway, and really happy to be back at the ship, back sailing with you guys. And I hope everybody's doing well. On our end, we are facing some struggles right now, unfortunately, with one of our dogs having some pretty serious health issues. Beast, our white German Shepherd, our one boy canine, unfortunately has been diagnosed with lymphoma. And we're weighing our options right now as much as we possibly can, and we're going to give him the best time that we can with the time that he has, and see what's going to be best. We have specialists looking at him. We're going to be getting a whole bunch of new tests and everything, so that'll be next week where we'll get a little bit more results. But so that's some struggle that we're dealing with right now, and as a family, we're gonna see it through and do what we can to make sure that he's comfortable and happy. But we're back here on the Dream. It is time for us to get back on board and get our course set for Lookout Point. Lighthouse Point? Lookout Point? It's Lookout Point, right? Lookout Point. Lighthouse Key. We'll see it on the map. Let's get on board, shall we? All right, we are back on board. Before we leave, obviously I could do this from the bridge, but we might as well do it up here where it's nice and beautiful and some scenic. So obviously we are going to push off via thrusters from the dock and start heading out. We are going to come out and make a turn. That is going to get us pointed in the correct direction. Ooh, I shot that way too much, actually. Here, and then it needs to go to here. There. I wasn't crazy. It's Lighthouse Point. I don't know. I swear, I feel like it's been like 700 different names, and I know it hasn't, but it's my brain trying to wrap around it. And that'll be our journey down. And then we'll have a beautiful day getting back with a day at sea. Some other interesting things this morning. Well, this morning our time, afternoon for Merriweather. The Disney Destiny was actually floated out, which was very exciting to see. I saw a little bit of it here and there. I'm actually going to zoom us up a little bit. And also the keel cutting for the next ship is actually underway, which I found kind of interesting. That the first steel cutting, the keel cutting, was now. The Destiny was started to be constructed when the Treasure was floated out. So there's like this gap. So I'm trying to figure that out as well, like where the thought process is there. I mean, I know everybody's been backed up on orders and stuff like that, so obviously there's people who make much more money than I who could probably answer that. But yeah, those two things are happening, which is super exciting. Let's get ourselves up to the bridge here. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. I overshot it. It's down one floor. Oh, boy. Okay, let's get over onto the bridge wing. And we are going to get ourselves ready to go. Controls are up. And, oh, nope, don't hit that yet. We need to let them know. Actually, let's get this going. Let's see. I can drop lines. There's that. I'm going to try to get you at 10. Engaged. And we are floating away from the dock.
This is the duty officer speaking from the bridge. We'll be sounding our ship's horn from the forward funnel. For those of you on the open decks at this time, you may want to cover your ears. Again, we'll be sounding our ship's horn from the forward funnel. And for those of you that are on the open decks at this time, you may want to cover your ears. Thank you for your attention.
All right, give them a second just to cover their ears, and off we go. And with that, the Disney Dream is heading back out to sea for one more day of ports of call and 2 more days before everybody needs to go home and you have the worst day of the cruise, which is going home. But it was a beautiful day, and we had some amazing weather here at Castaway Cay, and really you couldn't ask for much better, to be 100% honest. Like, beautiful day. It was toasty, so it was a good day to be in the water. And I'm sure all of the guests had a great time before they came back on board for some world-class dining and some amazing shows, which is pretty awesome. We're also in the process right now of ourselves planning out our next cruise. Now, with our new baby, we are kind of talking about, like, what are we going to do? Originally, we were thinking about doing a 7-night on the Treasure before our baby came to this world and joined us. We are now thinking of a 4 or 5 day on the Destiny from Fort Lauderdale next year, as well as piggybacking 2 days at Universal Epic Universe, just to be able to get to the new park, to be able to try it out. So I think that's a splendid idea. So we'll have to see how that all pans out. Again, that's like a whole year away. It's actually 11 months away. Not that anybody is counting. So that'll be interesting. Plus, it's also, I'm happy to announce that I started my new job this week. For anybody who might be new to the channel, I'll run things up. I've been working at a college for the past 3 years. Before that, I was a college professor for 3 years, and before that, I was a private high school teacher for 4 years. And now I'm taking a step. I'm taking a really big step professionally. I am the new director of production at the Colonial Theater in Keene, New Hampshire. And what essentially that means is I am the boss of anything technical. Anything that happens behind the stage for the show, actually pretty much anything that's past the box office is my responsibility. Show production, hospitality, contracting, checking contracts. I'm not the one who books the acts. I'm the one who goes, yeah, we can make this show happen. Scheduling crew, scheduling projectionists for when we do movies. It's a big step because usually I'm used to the technical theater world and just putting on presentations and not really being an office person. Now, my job is a lot of office time, which has been very interesting to get used to. I'm not usually somebody who can sit for a long period of time, and that's what I did all last week with my first week. So, it's just it's going to be an adjustment, but I'm really happy for this opportunity and the ability to spend time with my family a little bit more than what I have been able to do. So I'm very much looking forward to that. And you might even be able to hear in the background my baby crying. So it's a really big step in our life, and a lot's going on right now. We moved into our new house. We had our baby. I have a new job. We're beast with his illness. There is a lot on our plate right now, and I'm really proud of Danielle for doing all that she's doing and how hard she's working as a mom, as a caregiver, and as a wife, and just everybody around us helping when they can. And it's been pretty awesome. But enough of me with my woes and everything else that's kind of going in life. I know everybody has their struggles, but you guys are a good soundboard for me to be able to kind of talk things out and talk things through. So thank you for humoring me even if you pause and you don't actually listen to anything that I say. I'm not offended if that is the case, to be 100% honest. Like, I get it. I might not want to listen to myself either. We're going to move ourselves back to the aft here, just because I don't usually get that kind of opportunity. You know, I don't think we've ever really kind of come back here to be here sitting at the Meridian, and, you know, I know it's Cabana down there. But everybody wave goodbye to Castaway. We will see them again next week as we get ourselves out to sea here. It's going to be a really nice night of sailing. As you can see, the waters are relatively calm. Could be worse. So that's actually going to be spectacular. Excuse me. And we'll be arriving alongside about 9 a.m. tomorrow at Lookout Point. At Lighthouse Point. How many times am I going to do that? Where am I getting Lookout from? Wait, is it Lighthouse Point, Lookout Cay? I bet you that's where my confusion is. I bet you that's what it might be. One thing that I do find interesting, and kind of the reason why I was kind of against the second private, because I'm putting quotes around that island, this is not private. You have Princess Cay here. You have, I know that Carnival also uses this part of Princess Cay. I think there's a spot here, and there's a spot over there. There's something more magical when you go to like a place like Castaway, and that's all it is. Now, it doesn't have a ton of infrastructure, and I want to make sure people realize I 100% understand that. Like, you can't... okay, I almost clicked out of the sim here. Right? Yeah. That was weird. That kind of infrastructure, you know, is really important. So, let's see. We can start picking up speed now. We're at about 10 knots. That's good. And get ourselves up to about 18 knot cruising speed this evening, as long as the weather stays clear. And one fun thing when we leave Lighthouse Point tomorrow is going to be, it is Pirates Night. So very excited to have fireworks out at sea here with the beautiful Disney Dream. God, I remember that, trying to squeeze through some of these places. I didn't have a service dog on this ship. Well, we went on the Dream because of everything okay down there? Okay. All kinds of things that happened in 2017. I actually had a puppy at the time instead of a full-on service dog, because my service dog, Belle, the one who had the tennis ball buried here at Castaway, had unfortunately passed away. And I was working with Ella to get her trained and certified for international travel, and she was actually too young to sail. She had to be at least 9 months old, 6 or 9 months old, and she was just under. So she got to stay at a doggy daycare, which was very hard. They say that they carried her the whole entire time, and her feet never touched the floor. Which I'm like, cool, so should I still pay, or like, what's going on? Oh well. But it was a neat time. The Dream and the Fantasy are not my favorite ships. I'm coming to love them more for sailing them, not actually traveling on them. I don't really like the layout changes that they had done, and I have my own problems with the Treasure, the Wish, and the Destiny. But besides, obviously, the Magic and Wonder, the OGs, I actually like that class of ship. I didn't really like the Dream and the Fantasy when they first came out. But there is something about when the Wish came out, I went, there is something different about this. It was the structure of the ship. It didn't look so flat on the side. I was like, that is brilliant. That is great. So there is something there. But let's get ourselves down here through the adult-only area, and if we shoot this right, it should be right there. Went down one floor, and boop. Yeah. Back on the bridge as we head out for a beautiful night at sea. But that is going to do it for this one, everybody. I know this one feels really short, and that's why I tried to talk a little bit on the island, because there's only so much that I can do when we're just pulling out. But tomorrow, for everybody here on the beautiful Disney Dream, we will be pulling into Lighthouse Point. I'm going to keep doing it. I hate that so much. To Lookout Point for another beautiful day of exclusive Disney time before we head back towards Fort Lauderdale. But that's going to do it for this one. If you guys enjoyed what you saw on this video, we do try to get one out here on the channel at least a couple times a week. I used to say every single day, and that was before life crept up and bit me in the butt. But I really do appreciate your continued support, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Bye-bye.